Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. We're going to quickly jump into CoinGecko here. We're currently sitting at a $1.99 trillion market cap, currently up 0.3% for the day. And as you can tell, we're seeing a lot more red in the market than we have seen in the past, day or two. With Bitcoin coming back down to 42,469, Ethereum at 2,949, Tether, Binance Coin sitting at 403, XRP sitting at 82 cents, which is we're up 6.1% for the 24-hour period. Cardano sitting at a 107, Solana sitting at $96, Terra sitting at $51, and DOT sitting at $18, and so on. Coming over here to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, we're back in this fear range. So as you know, over the past 2 days ish, we've been in this neutral range, like right there, smack dab in the middle, which was nice. Showed a little bit of more positivity within the market. But now we're kind of trickling back into this fear range. And in our later video, we'll cover some of the reasons why. Obviously, we know Jerome Powell and the Fed, inflation, the uncertainties, and just a lot of stuff that's going on with Russia and its potential invasion of Ukraine and so on. So we'll touch on that in our later video. But as you see, we are getting back into this fear range. So we'll see how we hold up. I wanted to start this video off with this library tweet. So yesterday in our first video, we were talking about what was going on with the library v. SEC litigation. And they had tweeted the last minute, the SEC wants to pause our court case for another 8 weeks to collect more evidence. This case has already been open for 196 weeks. We've compiled every step of the way, providing over 1 million pages of documents. These people are evil. So quite honestly, this is what we're dealing with when it comes to the Ripple versus SEC case. It seems like their delay is like their major tactic when it comes to these cases, almost trying to like completely siphon the funds out of these projects. Luckily, Library and Ripple for sure, has the capital to actually take this fight to the very end, which is absolutely massive. But I just want to throw that up there, and for all you library holders out there, library token holders, I want to wish you the best of luck, and we're gonna all continue to fight the good fight and continue to surface all this evil and corruption that they've been doing behind closed doors. So coming over here from Pro Coin News, it says Ripple stands to win fair notice battle with the SEC. So we covered a lot what's been going on with Empower Oversight, Johnny Deaton, a class action lawsuit in regards of their Freedom of Information Act request that's going on with the SEC. So Jack the Ripper says Ripple stands to win the battle over fair notice amid SEC's backfire. The enforcement actions cited in the report do not actually support the SEC's argument in the first place, Ripple argued. So we covered the article yesterday about, they're utilizing past cases, saying that, no, these past cases that are relevant is Ripple's form of fair notice. So their fair notice shouldn't apply, should be struck down. Coming out here, Jeremy Hogan says the SEC argued that the prior lawsuits against cryptocurrency companies provided fair notice to Ripple. However, half of the lawsuits didn't involve the sale of a digital asset at all, and the other half involved companies that held ICO. So as we know, Ripple didn't hold an ICO, and the other half not selling any digital assets at all. So how can you compare those cases to this Ripple versus SEC case, especially in terms of the digital token XRP? Generation XRP says, so essentially the SEC doesn't even know its own case history and just pointed at the volume of cases as evidence of having given Ripple fair notice. And as Ripple lawyers are professionals that read them. So obviously we know it's just a bunch of bullcrap. They're just trying to literally pull from anywhere to kind of, prove their case and try to, overpower and over dominate this case in the crypto market. So I'm glad Ripple's, still fighting the good fight, and Empower Oversight is fighting the good fight, Johnny Deaton, the class action lawsuit, and all the parties involved into making, surfacing what's the shady stuff that's been going on behind the scenes, servicing that and putting it out into the community so everybody's up to date. Moving on here, Empower Oversight, this was yesterday. They said 3 former SEC officials had a direct hand in crypto enforcement actions that moved the markets. Former Chairman Jay Clayton, former Director of Corporation Finance William Hinman, the Ethereum free pass piece from Bill Hinman here, and a former Director of Enforcement Mark Berger. So coming over here, Johnny Deaton says, and all 3 of these guys leave the SEC after deciding to file the most significant enforcement action in 76 years. And keep in mind, they did this days before Christmas in 2020. We all know what we dealt with as, a community in 2020 in regards of, as they say, the beer flu or the pandemic. And then you do it before Christmas, you do that to the so-called investors you're set out to protect. It's just sickening to think about it. It says filed the most significant enforcement action in 76 years. Hinman and Berger returned to Simpson Thatcher, a member of the EEA, after paying Hinman $15 million for the Ethereum free pass speech. Oops, for retirement. So it's quite evident that, we don't need to go too far into it. We've been covering this in our past videos a lot. We just know that there's just a lot of shadiness, and it's not going to go unnoticed. Now that we have, agencies and groups like Empower Oversight, good luck. You may be able to settle with Johnny Deaton in the class action lawsuit. You may be able to settle with Ripple, but when it comes to Empower Oversight, good luck. They're going to keep bringing the fight and surface, what needs to be surfaced to bring out the wrongdoings behind what the SEC has been doing in any other agency, especially when it comes to conflicts of interest and, greed and so on. Coming over here, JV had a good tweet thread that kind of went up. He's responding to James K. Flynn's tweet where he says, Ripple files letter motion to compel the SEC to turn over notes regarding a 2018 meeting between Brad Garlinghouse and former Commissioner Roisman. So we covered this yesterday in our video, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but he says, who else thinks that if Elad Roisman had never left the SEC, these notes would have never been found? So Johnny Deaton says, and it clearly demonstrates that the SEC lawyers are not compiling in good faith. As a federal prosecutor, you represent the public, not your desire to win at all costs. Shameful. So absolutely. We know that, they're not looking at the best interests of the investors. They're not looking at protect investors. They're looking to hide and suppress what's been going on. The wrongdoings has been going on. The conflicts of interest. There's been bribery. this is all alleged until proven, guilty. But it's like, from what we've seen, there's been bribery, trying to slam the door on the rest of the industry, giving Bitcoin and Ethereum the so-called free passes, non-security status, trying to create a monopoly. You have all these players involved that are unknown. You have these whales trying to suppress their purchasing of it. There's just so much shady stuff going on, and it's quite evident that these representatives are not out to protect the investors. They're only hurting the industry. They're only hurting the protectors, or they're only hurting the investors. It's quite evident. ProCoin News put this up, and I thought it was great. It says, just protecting investors, SEC equals stopping Ethereum's competition. So we all know that. Sean always puts up these great tweets, man. This is awesome. He says, repeated extensions during the discovery period are aimed at finding a settlement that preserves the prestige of the SEC after its internal corruption is exposed. I'm going to read that one more time because this is literally, I can just have read this tweet in this video and it would have literally covered everything that I'm trying to unveil in this video here. So it says, repeated extensions during the discovery period are aimed at finding a settlement that preserves the prestige of the SEC after its internal corruption is exposed. And there's more and more stuff constantly surfacing, constantly exposing the SEC and all parties involved in this Ethereum free pass. It's all being exposed, and the dominoes have already started falling. It's going to continue to fall as more and more stuff surfaces. So no matter how far they try to push this thing out, we're going to continue to dig. Johnny Deaton, Empower Oversight, class action lawsuit, and all players that are involved in surfacing all this corruption. We're going to keep digging. So the further they push on, the further we're going to keep digging. So it's like you do the right thing and level the playing field, give the industry the clarity and regulatory clarity it needs, the fairness it needs to be innovative and grow to be prosperous. And, you tell the truth, or you keep lying and further suppressing things. And what do they call it? Forgot what they call the redacting information and not giving all the, not telling the full story. Then we're just going to keep digging and more stuff's going to come. And then when it comes to settlement, do you think there's going to be some point to where Ripple, it won't settle? Think about it. You keep extending this and keep trying to throw shady stuff into the case, just a bunch of nonsense that's irrelevant. Like, at what point is Ripple going to be like, no, we're not going to settle with you? And if they do settle, it's going to be a terrible settlement for the SEC because Ripple's going to have all the power, which we already see that Ripple has a lot of the power. So it's weird that they keep going for these extensions and these delays. And we were just talking about how they're doing this in the library case too. So it's like, is that the only tactic you got? That's the problem when you don't have the truth on your side. When you have the truth on your side and there's no wrongdoing, you ain't got to worry about none of this. But hey, they want to lie. They want to try to suppress. They want to redact stuff. They want to, have internal corruption, and they want to have, biases and pick winners and losers and pick their favorites. That's what happens. Coming over here. The digital asset investor is responding to this video and this tweet from Digital Perspectives. It says, sounds like an outside of BTC and ETH, Perian and the digital chamber are in alignment with Gary Gensler's approach that the rest of the crypto or digital asset securities. Maybe she can help clarify for us. And then he says exactly what I've been saying. Where's the support for Johnny Deaton or Ripple from these crypto industry groups? Not a peep out of them showing support. So I just want to take a listen in this video, hear what they have to say.
Mr. Bankman-Fried, if you go by market cap, the vast majority are commodities. Bitcoin and Ether today compose over 60% of the market capitalization of the entire digital asset ecosystem, and they've been defined as a commodity by the CFTC today. There's other categories. We kind of talked about categories of digital assets. Another one is intentional digital asset securities. One is intentional digital asset securities. Bankman-Fried, if you go by market cap, the vast majority are commodities.
So yeah, long story short, man, I'm curious to see, what social, like big, not social, these these news media outlets. I'm curious to see, obviously we have Charles Gasparino and, Fox that's been covering some of the case and all this stuff. Like, I'm wondering what other major media outlets are actually going to step up and cover what's been going on, cover this corruption and try to get to the truth. Quite honestly, this is literally, and I believe it, this is one of the biggest cases ever. I mean, at least in my years, but this is one of the biggest cases ever. And in a new and emerging, market and technology, this is setting precedent for the entire industry when it comes to the crypto space. So it's like, they're going to be missing out on the story of a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? So Charles Gasparino and them are already over it, already all over it, which is massive. But like, when are these other, media outlets, popular media outlets are going to start covering this stuff and get on board of, trying to surface, the corruption and get behind the truth of what's going on within this Ripple versus SEC case? That's what I'm quite curious about. And when it comes to, these so-called crypto industry groups, like, okay, when is the support going to be for everything digital asset, everything crypto wise? Why is it just two digital assets that seem to be only in the topic of discussion? I'm going to end with this one from Real XRP Boy. And Real XRP Boy is always posting some solid stuff. Just want to take a listen. He says, must be so hard not to mention Ripple XRP. And he put quotations, e-money. That's cute. So let's take a listen in.
By creating a much more efficient system in which central bank digital currencies and privately issued stable coins or e-money can collaborate. What is the central bank doing? It is providing finality. It is the final settlement, and it provides interoperability so private money can be trusted. And that continues to be necessary. With the stable coins, they are backed by assets. They are convertible in say, US dollars or other national currencies. And all this is going to be done on platforms, provided we have good, well-regulated private money, and provided we have interoperability globally for CBDCs, that does not require time. It is instantaneous. And it is still final settlement. It still does the stability that our economies require. That is a huge opportunity. Second big opportunity, we can imagine a world in which regional there can be a regional bank that brings the reserves, digital reserves, of members and allows for better reserve provision for a whole set of countries. And when I think about the future, for small countries, that may be a fantastic opportunity to become stronger and more resilient on that basis. And three, when we think about cross-border payments, which are today still expensive, slow, that is going to be, already we see it, and it's going to be a completely different world.
So long story short, yeah, quite honestly, it's been evident in a lot of these, these major conversations when it comes to IMF stuff that, it's almost like we just want them to slip up and tell the truth, say what it is. But just to quickly touch on this video, the whole point is like, okay, we know Ripple's technology infrastructure and then XRP's use case and utility is everything that she's talking about a system that doesn't require time, that's instantaneously has finality and stability, which the economies and the financial institution, the infrastructure needs. Okay, it's no secret. I'm just gonna end on that one. We are so early to the party, you guys. With all that being said, stay strong out there, be safe.